So we are starting up. I just want to give it a few minutes or seconds to allow the program to load over here on YouTube, and it looks like we're good. Just gonna hop on here to make sure everything can be heard all right. I'm thinking of doing this more regularly to update you all on the cryptocurrency Bitcoin space, as well as whatever's going on in finance and investing, particularly with the stock market as of right now. Okay, so looks like we're good. So I'm going to get started then. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, for everyone here now and for anyone who is tuning in after. The first piece of news I wanted to update you all on is the Elon Musk updates. There was a Clubhouse event. For those of you who don't know, Clubhouse is basically a chat room where you can actually chat, not like just typing or texting, but somewhere where you can actually talk with people, kind of like a phone conference, but it's built more as a social media platform where you can hop in and listen into the conversations that people you follow are having. So Elon Musk actually went on and did this last night at 10 p.m. And I just want to play for you all really quickly what was said.
Love to get your take on the entire thing. Well, yeah, I gotta watch what I say here because some of these things can really move the market. So, first of all, I should say many friends of mine have tried to convince me to get involved in Bitcoin for a long time. Like when it first just popped, it popped out there. And, a friend of my bully, he actually had Bitcoin cake, a cake that was had a big sort of Bitcoin symbol on it, and he fed me a slice of Bitcoin cake in 2013. So, I mean, clearly I should have at least bought some Bitcoin 8 years ago. What more do people need to do? Jesus, talk about being late to the party. So I was a little slow on the uptake there. My apologies. But I have to think about it a fair bit, but I do at this point think Bitcoin is a good thing. So I'm a supporter of Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm late to the party, but I'm a supporter of Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin is really on the verge of getting broad acceptance by sort of the conventional finance people. So. Yeah, I think so. I don't have a strong opinion on other cryptocurrencies. I mean, occasionally I make jokes about Dogecoin, but they are really just meant to be jokes. But Dogecoin was made as a joke to make fun of cryptocurrencies, obviously. But fate loves irony, and often, as a friend of mine says, that the most ironic outcome is the most likely, or as I like to say, the most entertaining outcome.
Okay, so Elon Musk basically was talking about Bitcoin in that clip, and you can see the full thing on Crypto's Twitter feed. But what this means is that Musk basically said that he's interested and that Bitcoin could see adoption from mainstream financial institutions, and at the same time, he also said that he thinks he's a little bit late to the party. So that's kind of both bullish and bearish news, because everyone considers Musk to be one of the most intelligent people in technology right now. You could just see what happened with Tesla, and he's now the most wealthy person on the planet. So a lot of people really respect his opinion. So him saying that it's a little bit late to the party for Bitcoin, Some people have been talking about how that's more bearish. I personally think when he mentioned that the financial institutions are more likely to be adopting it soon, that seems more bullish to me in particular, because once mainstream finance gets on board, we will CoinGecko. We will probably start seeing a lot more money flowing into Bitcoin. As of right now, you see that the market cap for Bitcoin is only $631 billion. And I say only, like that's a lot of money, but 631 billion is not that much when you're considering the money supply for the whole US or for all of the banks and financial institutions. There's a really cool graphic about how much money is stored in derivatives that we can actually look up later, if any of you are interested, and that is a really good representation of just how much money these institutions have. And we're not even at the $1 trillion dollar mark yet for Bitcoin. And right now, the amount of publicly traded companies that the amount of money that publicly traded companies have stored in Bitcoin is around $41 billion. So it's very, very small compared to the total Bitcoin market supply, and very small compared to what it could be. So there's a lot of positive upside there. So that's that news in Bitcoin. The next bit of news that you may hear about that I wanted to talk about is India is looking at banning Bitcoin. And we've actually talked about this a little bit before, that now that we're in a Bitcoin bull run, a lot of wealthy individuals and big institutions are going to want to be getting on board with Bitcoin and start investing before we get too much. One second, I'm getting an error message on my stream. Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure it's working. Okay, I think we are working right now. Yeah, it looks like it's working. I'm not sure what that error is, but we'll just wrap up more quickly. So India is looking at banning Bitcoin, and a lot of wealthy groups are probably going to be wanting to hop on board with Bitcoin now that we're in a bull run. And why this is important for you is because they want to buy when the market is crashing, because when the market is tanking, everyone is selling, and so buying doesn't have that much of an effect on the price. Whereas if you buy Bitcoin at market value and you're buying a significant amount, like hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, you could push up the price significantly. So for us, this is called slippage. We don't really experience this much, because if you're buying like, I don't know, $100 worth of Bitcoin and there's like $50 million of volume going on, it's not going to have that much of an effect. But if there's like $50 million of volume and you are buying, say, $25 million worth of Bitcoin, that's like half of the amount, and that's going to cause what's called slippage, where you buy up everything at whatever the price is and it pushes up the price. So that's not the best explanation, but I can go into that more in a later video. But this is something that big institutions want to avoid, and so what they're going to be doing, and Elio Trades had a great video explaining this, is what he called psychological warfare, where they are basically going to be pushing out a lot of really negative, bearish news about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, so that people are more fearful, and they cause some FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then people will start selling, and while they're selling, the price will fall, and when that happens, the big institutions can buy in without forcing the price up too much, which is not something they could do if the price is just stationary. So we saw this in the 2017 bull run, where China, I think, banned Bitcoin something like 7 times, and now we're seeing this again now. This was just February 1st. So this was just today that this news came out, that lawmakers in India are planning to introduce a bill that aims to ban Bitcoin and other crypto assets while seeking to create the country's official digital currency. So what they're saying is they basically want to create their own CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, kind of like USD, like a US dollar, like Tether here, but they want to create it for the Indian rupee. And they want to ban Bitcoin because having one that is not a fiat currency is something that could be damaging to them because of that. Because if everyone has this store of value in Bitcoin versus a infinite supply fiat, which is just digitized, then people are more likely to go to the more secure asset, which in this case would be Bitcoin. So they're saying they want to ban it, and they've actually done this before. Yeah, India has a history of taking a strong stance against cryptocurrencies. In 2018, they issued a ban against crypto-related transactions, which prohibits commercial banks from providing banking services to crypto exchanges and other financial institutions that interface with digital assets. And then just after that, the nation's Supreme Court overturned the policy in March 2020. So they basically said we're banning it, and then it got overturned. So even when they say they are going to ban something, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will be banned. And by doing this, they often hope to drive down the prices. So whenever you see news like this, make sure you take it with a grain of salt, and make sure you always do your own research and come to your own conclusions and make your own decisions about this. And as always, manage your risk. The next thing is going to be the last. So you may have heard about the Wall Street bets, GameStop short squeeze attempts from the Reddit, the subreddit Wall Street Bets. Their next target, so to speak, is looking like it could be silver. And there was actually a thread that Jeff Kurdakis, who is the CEO of TrustSwap, put over here on Twitter, explaining the whole process. But basically what it says is that silver is currently mined. The available quantity of gold to silver has a ratio of 1 to 8, and yet the price ratio is 1 to 70. As of last night, when I checked this myself, it was 1 to 67. So it's still, silver is considerably undervalued. And essentially the banks are doing this naked shorting that they were doing with GameStop stock with silver. And when you do that with silver, with like a physical asset like silver, there's not enough of it to meet that need. So what normally happens when you would kind of call this and ask for the silver is that they would either give it to you, or if they do not have the silver on tap, which they're supposed to, but if they don't, then they will buy you out for what the price of silver is at that time. And so, and if you do not, if the price is not right, then they will just keep having to bid up the price and pay you more, essentially, if they don't have the silver. And what they were saying here is the silver, it does not exist. There's not enough silver in existence for the amount that they have shorted. And so what they are planning on doing is buying silver, and not just the stock of silver, which is paper silver. It's like essentially fake. They are looking at buying real silver, and that's essentially what was being said here. There was precedent for this happening once before in 1979 to 1980. There were a couple of brothers, the Hunt brothers, planned on buying silver, and they were able to actually single-handedly, it was a couple of rich guys, but they were able to single-handedly push the price of silver from $6 to $50. So this is something that has been done before, and now that the retail investors know kind of their ability to move the markets, they are looking for the next kind of the next thing to call Wall Street on, because they have been doing these things that some people say is against the law, to kind of sell something that you don't own and sell more of it than exists. I'm not a legal scholar, so I can't comment specifically on that, but it does seem immoral, if anything, because like I can't sell houses that I don't own, and I can't sell more houses that I don't own than exist. So with real estate, which is a much more tangible thing that I think about a lot of the times with these examples, you can't do it there, so it doesn't really make that much sense that you could do it elsewhere. But they do, and these two brothers were able to push up the price from $6 to $50, which is almost a 10x gain, which here, like in cryptocurrency, is typically not something that's too surprising. It's like, good job, you did that. But with something as big as like the stock market, that's huge, especially in a 1 year time frame. And with something like physical assets such as silver, that is also huge. Um, so that's pretty much what they were saying here. If there's not enough silver, yeah. So that's basically everything, and you can go in and read this all yourself. But looking at the effect this is having, because it is actually starting to have a not insignificant effect. If you go to Google Trends, which if you watch regularly, you know I like using to kind of see what everyone is looking at or what the general consensus is in the market. Buy silver just on Google has gone from an average search volume of essentially 25% to up to 100% now. So it's done like a 4x. So 4 times as many people as normal are searching for how to buy silver. And we actually started seeing this in a lot of these silver suppliers. JM Bullion's really good. They were actually out of stock the other day, yesterday, but they are in stock now. But a lot of the other ones only have, for if you go to silver at this one is goldsilver.com. If you go to silver, if it'll load, and then you go to coins. Well, here you see they've got two options: the silver 1 ounce silver round and then 1 ounce Australian silver coin. Um, Both of which are 34 and then 35 respectively. We don't have it here, but if we go back to JM Bullion, you see that silver ask, this is the what is called the spot price, which is basically what the banks and the government and the institutions are saying silver is worth. So they essentially say that silver is worth this much. So if you buy one of their contracts and then you go to the institution and you say, I want to redeem this for silver, then they are supposed to be legally obligated to give this to you. The thing is, they don't have enough silver, so if enough people do this, it forces up the price. But oftentimes what will happen is they'll say, oh, well, you have to wait a certain amount of time, which is what these companies get their money from, JM Bullion and Gold Silver both, that because the price is so much higher because you can order it right now and they'll get it to you right now, as opposed to in this case having to like fly to New York or something with your stock basically. Um, so it is having a bit of an effect, quite a bit of an effect. This is another one. If you Google, actually I can just show you this right now. If we go to buy silver, if you just search, the top result is actually top result that isn't an ad. You see this is an ad, this is an ad, this is not an ad. So the top result by search interest is APMEX, 8MEX, I don't know how to pronounce that. And what you want to do is you want to go to silver coins, because those are the smallest denomination that you can buy, which is what most people are going to be buying. And you want to view all products. You go down the list, you'll see pre-sale, which means it's unavailable, pre-sale, which means it's unavailable, pre-sale, which means it's unavailable, top pick, and alert me. Alert me means that they don't have it in stock, but you set an alert for when it is available. So they do have a lot more. I'm seeing now they were all sold out yesterday, so they are getting their supply back in. But the thing is, it is having an effect, which was kind of surprising, and we can see that here. So let's say their first top pick is a 2020 1 ounce American Silver Eagle. If we click on this, you see it's $42.77, and yet the silver spot price is $28.78. So this is like a what is that, like a 30% increase, 30% premium for the price that the banks are saying it's worth, if you want to get the actual thing, which shows you kind of how disconnected from the real assets the stocks that we trade are. So that, coupled with the immense retail search interest in buying silver, and what is actually really good due diligence on the behalf of Wall Street bets who like go through and do all of this research. Um, no, I'm not saying all of Wall Street Bets does this, but there are quite a few. There are a not insignificant number of individuals there that do very good research, and it's mostly memes. Like, let's be fair, but for the handful that do things like this, they do good research. So this is a good example of that, and it could have quite a bit of an effect. So that's basically what's going on with the silver short squeeze right now, um, or their attempts to create a silver short squeeze. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover here. You are now up to date with what's going on with silver. Kind of saw some of these places in stock, in stock, in stock. Is anything out of stock? Um, wow, nothing's out of stock. So let's see. One of the things you want to do if you do choose to buy silver is get smaller denominations. So let's go silver coins, and then look for something like a half-ounce silver coin. Do they have that out of stock? What is that? Not seeing half-ounce. Oh, here's a half-ounce. Wow. Okay, so they're pretty much back in stock with everything, which is good. Good to see. Um, so that's basically everything we wanted to cover. You're now pretty much aware of what's going on with the silver short squeeze attempts. You're aware with this FUD that is being sown with India banning Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And then the other thing we talked about was the GameStop drama and where that's going. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover here. If you have any questions, let me know in the questions section. Otherwise, I'm going to call it and hop on over to TikTok to go live over there. So I'm not seeing any questions right now, so thank you all for tuning in or for watching. If you've already, if this is over and you're seeing it recorded, hopefully you found this informative, hopefully you found it helpful and you learned something. As always, leave your questions or thoughts in the comments and I'll get back to those as soon as possible. And I will see you in the next video.